Welcome to episode 8 of Inside the Lair. Today is Thursday, March 10th, 2016. We're kind of in between sports seasons here, but we still want to bring you some coverage of what other things are going on with the KW students. And we are going to start with the band and choir trip to New Orleans. And the band and choir, every 2 years, go on a different trip. This year, it's to the historic New Orleans, Louisiana.
Sounds like a great trip. Being a kid that was in choir all 4 years of my high school career and college, going on tours was kind of the highlight of each year. To be able to visit different parts of the country, and in college I got to visit other parts of the world. So great experience for these kids. I know they're excited, and I know their instructors are excited too.
Yeah, speaking of the instructors, we've caught up with both of them earlier today, and here's what they had to say about the trip. I am here with the music faculty of the Kenyon Wanamingo 5th through 12th grade, Claire Larson and Stephanie Schumacher, and there is a big trip coming up in a week and a half.
That's right, Kirby. We're going to New Orleans in 10 days.
Very exciting.
We're
So-
looking forward to it.
What goes on this sort of trip?
Well, we always have a music element, so both of us will be in a clinic. The band is going to be at Loyola.
Yep, and the choir will be at Tulane University. So each of us will work with an expert teacher in our in band and choir, and have a clinic to work on our music that we've been preparing for our spring concert and for our trip.
And then the other component is a performance. So it is a performance tour, and we had a lot of different options of where we could play, and we really enjoy playing in a real authentic type of setting. In Colorado, we played looking out over the Rocky Mountains, and in New Orleans, we're going to be looking out over Jackson Square in the French Quarter.
And, probably on top of the music, there will be some cultural learning experiences too.
Yeah, one thing that I'm most excited about is one night every time on our trip we have one night where everyone gets dressed up and we go out to a fancy place, and so we're gonna go on a Mississippi riverboat cruise with a live jazz band and dinner, and I think that'll be a highlight for us.
Will be. We're also doing the Destrehan Plantation, which is right outside of New Orleans, an old antebellum beautiful mansion. And then we're doing the World War II Museum and the Audubon Zoological Gardens.
The zoo, and
we're taking a tour of the whole area. I mean, it's going to be like a guided tour.
A Katrina tour, I think they call it.
Okay.
Where the hurricane hit and how things are being rebuilt there.
This happens every 2 years, and where have you been in the past, and do we know future trips?
Well, 2 years ago we went to Colorado. Before that, they went to St. Louis and Chicago. I was just talking to the 8th graders today and asking them, if you could go anywhere in 2 years, where would you go? We heard a few interesting responses. New York, Seattle, Florida.
I know where I want to go.
I know where I want to go too, so we'll see.
Well, and we try to expand that. Like every time we go just a little bit further. Just explore a different area. I know some schools who go to the same location every year, which is awesome. They have a great experience in New York, so they go there every year.
Sure.
But if you have the ability to see many different locations, why not? Why not explore different cultures, different locations, and maybe that'll inspire you to become interested in that area as an adult or go to school in that area.
Well, this sounds like a definite highlight of the music career of a student.
Absolutely.
And I get the privilege of joining them as chaperone on the trip. So I look forward to next week.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you.
Well, thank you to the music department for giving us that interview. I also just want to say that Gunnar Olson has written an article in the Kenyon Leader about the trip and some of the things that the band and choir programs will be experiencing along the way. So go ahead and read that article. Thanks to Gunnar for putting that together.
Well, I hope you have a good trip. I hope you behave down there, young man. I'm not worried about the kids at all. I'm worried about the big kid going down there. I know you're going to be playing a little trombone down there when you're down there, a little jazz for you there, Kirby.
We will be playing the trombone with the high school band, but I've never been to Louisiana. I'm looking forward to the experience. Just hoping the bus ride goes smoothly.
Like a good book. Like a good book.
Right. Well, moving on. We're moving on to the robotics team. And the robotics team each year gets together with with the other schools, I think Mr. Larson, or not Mr. Larson, Mr. Thompson says there's about 6,000 schools internationally that are participating. And this year, their challenge is to build a robot that has to go over different types of walls, climb over rocks, and that's their challenge that they'll be bringing to the Mariucci Arena up at the University of Minnesota in April. And Mr. Thompson today was able to give us a little video showing us what their robot looks like, because I asked to see it today for their interview, and he said it's packed away, getting ready for the big time.
Sure. This is exciting. One of the first things I heard about when I came to KW was how good the robotics team is, and I think this is such a great thing. And again, one of those activities that's kind of unfortunately under the radar a little bit, but this is such a fantastic program, and the staff does a great job, and the kids work so hard. It's really cool to see this. Good luck to them on the big time, on the big stage at Mariucci Arena.
And if you go back and look at that video that was just playing, at the end of the video you will see the robot actually flying over one of the walls that they built. So good luck to them in their competition. And here's Mr. Thompson, the leader of the robotics team, with what's ahead for their squad. Hey, I'm here with Doug Thompson, the robotics team coach, I guess is what you're called, right?
Right. Yeah.
So, the leader of the robotics team, we've got a competition coming up and a new challenge this year. Can you tell us a little bit about the challenge that your members of your robotics team have to overcome this year?
It was a big one this year. We've got 9 different defenses we have to try and breach, as they say. And or we could have shot a boulder into a castle. We're trying to capture a castle at the end of the playing field. And so the name of the game this year is called Stronghold.
Stronghold. And when you say breach defenses, you have to go over them. You have to build a robot that will go over these devices.
Right. And some of these walls are like 5-6 inches tall. Some of them are rock piles,
Sure.
2x4s on their ends. Some are actually doors that we have to try and get through. And right now we can drive through them. We can't pick them down and get the room like we're supposed to. But so that's always the challenge, getting through all the things we can do. But we can breach 6 out of the 9 defenses, so we're pretty happy where we're at right now.
And you have a competition coming up in April. Can you tell us about that?
Every year there's a regional competition in Minnesota. There are 4 of them. We go to the one at Mariucci Arena, the University of Minnesota, and it's the April 8th and 9th. And we have a 9-match day on Friday of that day. We have a 4-match day on Saturday the next day. And if we are one of the top 8 teams, which we were 2 years ago with our robot that we had previously, we then get to go into the championship round in the afternoon.
So I was going to ask you, what has been your recent successes or any accomplishments that the robotics team has had recently?
Every year is a success. I mean, every year is like, we only have 6 weeks to build this thing. Everybody, all the teams in the world, there's 6,000 some teams, first robotic team now, and they all get the challenge the first weekend in January. And we have 6 weeks to get it done.
And do you guys meet every day?
We are just like the sports team. We meet every day after school, and sometimes we go into the evenings, and we meet every Saturday in January, February.
Very cool.
Basically 6 days.
So how are you building your program? How are
Well,
you getting more students involved and interested in robotics?
I think a lot of it's just word of mouth. It hasn't been up until so far, but now I'm kind of feeling the pressure from one of my younger students that we have the 8th grade gate students, or I should say 5th and 6th grade gate students come down and play and work with our Lego robotics. And we have area teams that actually have robotics teams, so it's starting to give me a little pressure about maybe making a team.
So these are your 5th and 6th graders that are building a robot that has to follow this black line around.
Yep, and there are sensors like you see right here with stop sensors.
Okay.
Yep. Ultrasonic sensors, and all the different sensors that even you find in cars now.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time, and I hope you guys have the best of luck up at Mariucci Arena.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Coach
it.
Thompson.
Appreciate all the support.
Thanks to Mr. Thompson for taking the time to give us that interview today. And I just wanted to highlight something that Gunnar Olson has written an article in the Kenyon Leader about the robotics team and the challenges that they face this season. So give that article a read. Gunnar Olson, hard at work this year.
Doing a great job. He's touched on a lot of things that we've covered, so great minds think alike.
Moving on, it's the end of the winter sports season, and we have to say thank you to some of the people involved with the winter sports, some of the teams with the winter sports, and I've been thinking about this, and
Me too.
I'm ready to write my thank yous.
Me too. I'll let you go first. I got to think about one here.
Okay, I've got one.
You go.
Thank you, Pasta Mamas, for getting me in trouble by coming home full when my wife had prepared a meal at home.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I've ran into that same issue. I think I'm ready. I got one here. Thank you, jump ropes, for always being there when our players would show up late for basketball practice.
That's a good one.
Yeah, jump ropes got a lot of work this year. You got another one?
Yeah, I think I got one.
Okay, go.
Thank you, KW Wrestling, for making me feel like a champion after 3 consecutive losses.
That's good. Deep. That's very deep. All right. I think I have a good one here. All right. I really meant to write this one earlier. All right. Thank you, Gunnar Olsen, for having the courage to put 3 guys with faces for the radio on the front page of the Kenyan Leader.
Thank you.
It's very true. There's nothing more to say.
It's been hard work.
He is. Yep.
Got one? I've got one.
Okay, go.
Thank you, KW Girls Basketball, for making the boys' loss at Goodhue not look so bad.
Very good. Very good. All right. We're thinking long and hard about this thank you. This needs to be written. All right, here we go. Thank you, 106 and 113 pound wrestlers, for leaving more food for us big boys at the school cafeteria. True. Very true.
I like that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more? One last one? Thank you, everybody.
I might have.
You got one?
I think I got one here.
Go for it.
Thank you, Caledonia, for helping us set a school record for most points given up in a game.
That's something we don't want to talk about much, but had to thank them.
School
Had to thank them. Had to thank them. All right, I got last one. Okay. All right. Thank you, KW 5th and 6th grade boys basketball players, for scoring more points at halftime than we did in the whole first half.
We had to say
It had to be said. Thank you.
I've got one more. I've got
You
one
do?
more.
All right.
thought of
I'm
one
done.
more.
You
Thought of
go.
One more. Thank you, Ryan Pelkey, for making me feel less of a man for not having as much facial hair as you.
I think he had more facial hair than the entire boys basketball coaching staff. I know. I always look in the mirror after I see Pelkey and I go, man, I just don't measure up. All right, we'll give our sendings out.
Those are the thank yous for this year's winter sports teams. We'll see you next week on Inside the Lair with
Blair. Good night.